Hello, this is another Varsity Sports Update, talking high school hoops with Jason Andera. Question, Jason, we got 2.5 weeks left in the regular season in high school basketball in South Dakota. Who does the rankings that we see every week that are out there?
The media has come together.
Who's the media?
The media has come together. It used to be just the writers in South Dakota. Now they've allowed people like me, radio broadcasters, television broadcasters, and writers throughout the state vote. And
so this is as much of a consensus as we've ever had
yes.
for these rankings. All right, so for the first time that you can remember, all 6 of our classes, and the boys and the girls, were unanimous, right?
Unanimous number ones.
Right.
Like, you almost never see that.
So our premise this week is we're going to take a look at those number 1 teams, and your confidence, I guess these are odds, you could say, that those teams will go on and win the state championship.
Which, I don't know, might be a surprise to people. They might be smaller or larger than your expectations. I'll be curious to see what you guys think.
Let's start with boys AA. Yankton, the unanimous number 1.
A lot of confidence. You look at someone like Trevor Fitzgerald and Aiden Feeser, those 2 guys that multiple sport athletes. I think you get in games like this, they're gamers and they've been in a lot of games. And I think that you're starting to see those things come out, that those guys aren't afraid of the moment, and they're getting more and more comfortable and more confident in those situations.
This confidence level, their confidence is way higher than it used to be. They got on that varsity court and they didn't really know, they're a little timid, but I think they got it figured out now.
We showed tonight that we're a very resilient team, and good teams just find a way to win, and that's what we did tonight. We had a lot of guys step up when they needed to, and we finished it towards the end.
Got all 20 of the first place votes. They are 13-2 right now. What is your confidence that Yankton's boys can go on and win the state championship?
Well, this might be a relatively low number for some people, 36%. I give them about a 1 out of 3 chance to take the title just because there are so many contenders in this class. In AA, you could literally see anybody beating anybody in the state tournament. There are teams like Aberdeen Central, Rapid City Central, Sioux Falls, Washington, who are outside the rankings right now, who I could see making a run and doing some damage. So because of that, I think Yankton's going to have a tough time getting to the top, but they've got as good a chance as anybody.
Their only South Dakota loss is to Sioux Falls, O'Gorman. Yankton is 13-2 right now, but 36% is the lowest of all the classes that we're going to take a look at.
Yeah, you have to think about, out of a 100% chance, play it out. Maybe they win 1 out of 3 times. That's probably about right.
All right, boys A, St. Thomas More is 13-0. St. Thomas More has already beaten Sioux Falls, O'Gorman, beat a really good Sioux Valley team, and you've got St. Thomas More at 52%.
They are playing as well as anybody. The only other team in their class that I'm worried about right now is Sioux Valley, and they've already beaten them head-to-head. And then they came out and beat a AA team last week in O'Gorman. They're going to have a lot to prove here over the next couple weeks. They still have some really tough matchups against Sioux Falls Christian. They've got to play Brandon Valley. And, of course, they have Yankton on their schedule. So I don't think they'll be unscathed, but I still think they'll come out of that as strong a team as they possibly can be. And right now, it's better than 2-1 odds. I think this team takes home the title.
St. Thomas More plays Sioux Falls Christian coming up on Saturday. Boys B, DeSmet at 38%. Again, this is one of the lower percentages, but DeSmet in Class B.
These guys hate to lose. They've come up winning games, scratching and clawing. Don't tell them they can't do something, because they're the typical, we're going to go try it. And sometimes it leads to some heads down offense where I am now getting to the rim if somebody stopped me, but we're working through that.
Class B is always a toss-up. When you get to Aberdeen, a team that gets hot can take it all. DeSmet by far is the best team I've seen with my own 2 eyes in Class B. They just look like a better team than everybody, but you can't count out Viborg-Hurley. This is a team that's right behind DeSmet, and then there are plenty of teams. Aberdeen Christian, even White River could come back, bounce back, and make a run. Canastota you could see as being a contender. They're going to have a lot of hurdles on their way, but right now, to me, DeSmet is far and away the best team in this class. I just don't think it's going to be a 50% chance that they win this thing.
DeSmet's only loss is to Sioux Valley, the Class A powerhouse right now. DeSmet was second in the state tournament last year. We'll see if DeSmet can get through in Class B boys. Class A girls, all the number 1 teams are undefeated right now. Starting in AA, and Sioux Falls O'Gorman is 15-0. You've got them at 61%.
Yeah, this is the most confident I am in any team, especially for a AA. Not confident all over, but definitely the most confident in a AA squad that I've been in a long time. They've gotten through a lot of peaks and valleys this year without having a loss. They were contested royally by T area. They were contested by Harrisburg. Rapid City Stevens gave them a game without Kaya Watson. They passed all those tests, even though they weren't playing their best. And from here on out, their schedule gets a little bit easier, if you ask me. I think O'Gorman is in prime position to push this thing to a state title.
O'Gorman 15-0. Stevens is 14-1. Their only loss to O'Gorman. Sioux Falls Lincoln, who finished second in the state tournament last year. Lincoln's 11-3. 2 of those losses to O'Gorman, but maybe the third time around for Lincoln and O'Gorman, we will see.
And Lincoln plays Stevens this week, so that'll be a great test to see who the real contender in this class is.
Yeah, Lincoln out in Rapid City this weekend. Girls A, winner is 14-0. You got them at 42% to win the state championship.
Yeah, some people I think might have them even higher because they've passed every test with flying colors. They've beaten St. Thomas More and Lennox, their 2 main contenders in this class, and they look like they could get even better. They are cruising right now. I just think that this is going to be a very difficult class with Madison Vlastuin and Lennox in there alongside Winter. They got in foul trouble last time they played against Winter, which I think hampered them a little bit. I think if they play again, it's going to be a toss-up who the best team is. So Winter definitely in control of this class with some outstanding athletes, the confidence of winning it all last year, and so many players back. But again, a lot of hurdles before you can crown them.
All right, Class B, this is the highest percentage you have out of all these classes. Corsica-Stickney's girls, 17-0. You got them at 65%.
I think the girls have been, for the most part, handling it pretty well. We've always, last year, this year, we go into every game and we say every game's a big game, just so that the girls get used to that mentality a little bit. And we have any of our girls that are out there and on the bench that can do that, so that's what's really nice about having that many athletic girls.
And I think if you polled the public, it probably would be even higher than this. But I know how hard it is to win 3 games in 3 nights when you get to the state tournament. But right now, nobody's playing alongside this Corsica-Stickney team. Even though they've played the number 2 team in the state, who was number 2, Ethan, they had no problem with them. They're coming up against DeSmet here in the DWU Classic. That's going to be a little bit of a test for them. But every time they've even been tested through like half of a game, they've come out with flying colors. But they are vulnerable. No players on this team are over 6 foot tall. I think you can attack this team. So I've got them a little bit lower than maybe other people in the state would have right now. And maybe they think they're a shoo-in right now. I still think there's some tests.
They've had a handful of close games. They
Yeah.
had an overtime game against White River. There's been some teams that have come close to Corsica-Stickney, but nobody's beaten them yet.
Right, White River, of course, that was with the healthy Kaylin Valander-Prue, who's not healthy anymore. I was at that game, and they fought through a lot of obstacles just to force overtime. So you're right, they're vulnerable. But right now, I don't see anybody close to them right now.
All right, maybe we'll circle back to this.
Let's do it.
After the state championships. Jason Andera and your Varsity Sports Update.